Okay, welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to go through an ANCO module. It's called Presentation Skills. So let's begin. So by the end of this module, you should be able to understand the components that makes up an effective presentation, as well as how to deliver one. So over here, we can see the differences between an MOI-based presentation versus a content-based presentation. So MOI was discussed earlier in BNCO. So what is MOI? MOI offers a practical explanation of a topic for better visualization so that we can teach practical skills such as transportation of casualty, foot drill maneuvers, wound dressing, as well as bandaging. A content-based presentation, however, focuses on the delivery of idea of information of a particular topic. The more theoretical concepts such as first aid and home nursing are all delivered in a content-based presentation. So the most important part of this slide is how they work together. So you learn a practical skill, and then once you go through, you learn a practical skill through a MOI-based presentation, and then when you move on to a content-based presentation, you learn why you implement such a practical skill. Now we move on to the 5 key aspects of an effective content-based presentation. So starting from the top, speaker, audience, message, delivery, as well as feedback. Now we'll go through the first key aspect, which is speaker. So in speaker, the speaker must be prepared and confident. So you must first understand the purpose of your presentation. So for example, in my current presentation, the objective of my presentation is to get you guys to understand the 5 components that makes up an effective presentation, as well as to get you guys to understand how to deliver an effective presentation. That is the purpose of my presentation. I cannot have a slide that randomly talks about first aid. That is not related to my purpose of the presentation, and therefore it will not be included in my presentation slides at all. So the next 3 points are all related: be comfortable, familiarize, and rehearse. So it all begins with rehearsal. The more you rehearse, the more familiar you are with the topic, and then the more familiar you are with the topic, and then the more comfortable you become. All right, now that we talk about speaker, we're moving on to audience. In audience, it is important that you know your target audience so that you can organize your message to engage the target audience better. So let me take a pause here. By the right side of the screen, you should notice a pink bubble of guiding questions. These are questions that you can ask yourself in the future when you are holding a presentation. So do refer back to these slides and follow these guiding questions. Right, so how do you do audience analysis? There are 2 steps to it. First is the size of the target audience. So you must first know the size of your target audience so that you can prepare enough materials for them. Let's say you have a class of 10, you can prepare maybe 10 notes for them to view. Next, learning capacity of target audience. So let me give you an exaggerated example: a working adult versus a student. A working adult has both the experience because of the age and maturity as compared to a student, and therefore they are capable of understanding your theoretical concepts more advanced as compared to a student. A student, you must deliver your content-based presentation as basic as possible so that each and every one of them are able to understand you. However, if the students have any prior knowledge of the topic that you're talking about, feel free to share more theoretical concepts to them because they may be able to understand you. Okay? Check your head if it's okay. Okay. Am I going too fast or too slow, guys? All good. Okay, we move on to message, the third key aspect. So message has 3 components to it. I'll be talking about content first, the first component. So what is being covered in the presentation? So the content must be aligned to the key idea / message of your presentation. So as what I said earlier, if I'm presenting a topic about presentation, I cannot have a slide that has first aid skills. That is not related to my content, and therefore it should not be inside the presentation. Next, I talk about research, where you must be familiar, you must ensure that your content is correct and up to date. So how do you do research? I suggest to do a two-point method. One of them will be asking a reliable senior or a teacher, a human being. The second method will be to research online. So this way, you can ensure that only correct information is passed down during your presentation. In the next point, we talk about appropriate depth and breadth of the topic. This is related to the audience analysis as well, where we talk about the learning capacity of your targeted audience. So for working adults, you can go ahead to delve more into advanced details. For students, it's best to keep things at basic level. Right. I see some of you guys taking down notes. That is fine, but do take them down quickly because I'll be going through the slides, well, at a faster rate. But don't worry, you guys will be given the slides and you guys can have full access to the material later on. So now I'll talk about the structure of the message. There's 3 parts as well: introduction, body, and conclusion. So in introduction, we first talk about what is the topic about. Next, we talk about the objective as well as the agenda. So let me just give you guys a brief run through of what's the difference between the objective and the agenda. So the objective is essentially the purpose of my presentation, whereas the agenda is what I am going through. So maybe I can get one of you guys to answer a question right now. Maybe Yuan Long, are you there?
Yes.
Right, okay. So my question for you is, what do you think is the objective of my presentation?
What presentation?
Of my current presentation, what is the objective of it?
So let us learn about
To get us to learn something?
yeah.
Okay. The objective of my presentation is to get you guys to learn to learn how to hold a presentation as well as understand what makes up a presentation. The agenda of my presentation, however, is the 5 key aspects, the main points of my presentation. Now, the agenda is similar to the body of the presentation, which is the main points and key ideas. So the main points are the 5 key aspects, and the elaboration is what I'm doing right now, elaborating each and every one of the aspect. All good with that, Yuan Long? Okay. Thank you, Yuan Long. So we move on to the conclusion, which is a clear and concise summary of the presentation. So this is important because you want the cadets or the target audience to retain knowledge of your presentation. And what better way to do it than a question and answer session, similar to what I just did with Yuan Long. Right, now we move on to the style of the presentation. We have 2 styles, formal and informal. I'll just go through the differences between them. So a formal is a one-way delivery of information from the speaker to the audience, and it is best used in St. John related issues or St. John related matters. So the attire for it will be at least a half St. John uniform or and above, which is the full uniform. Well, the informal approach of the informal style is a two-way delivery of information. So the speaker provides information to the audience, listens to the reaction of the audience, and then gather a discussion amongst the audience. So that delivery of information goes 2 ways. So when is it better to adopt an informal style presentation? In the future, when you're working, you're given a rushed presentation, not enough time to do a presentation slide, not enough time to rehearse, not enough time to do research. It can be best to do some informal style presentation. Okay. Now we move on, after we're done with the message aspect, we move on to delivery aspect, the 4th key aspect. Verbal and non-verbal communications is important. So you must first pay good attention to your verbal delivery. You must have good pronunciation. appropriate volume and variation in tones, as well as no fillers. So you cannot have a presentation where you keep going, that kind of stuff. The reason for that is because you do not want to bore your audience, because they may not pay attention to what you're saying, as what you're saying most of the time is just fillers. Now we move on to nonverbal communication. A nonverbal communication should help to reinforce your verbal communication. What do I mean by that? You must maintain eye contact with your audience. This way, you can keep each of them engaged. So engaged through using of facial expression, body movement, as well as body posture. I'll just pause around 1 minute for you guys to take a look at this slide. Just scan through it, write down some key points if you're writing notes. The main important thing of this slide is to keep your audience engaged. Assure your audience that you are paying attention to what they're saying and their facial expression to check for their understanding. All right, now move on. Medium of presentation. So pictorials can help to add emphasis and facilitate understanding. So there are multiple pictorials, diagrams, charts, graphs, pictures, as well as photographs. So all these can help add emphasis and facilitate understanding. However, these pictures should be all relevant and not become a source of distraction. So what do I mean by source of distraction? Maybe I'll get back to that in a moment. So these are some examples of colors and pictorials that you should not use. Avoid these colors because they are very hard to see, and these colors as well. So why do we avoid these colors? You do not want to have colors of the same, shade. As you can see over here, a gray color font and a black color background. What you want to do is to have contrasting colors such as this, where you can see clearly, you can see the words clearly. Pretty self-explanatory, you can see it for yourself. Over here, we can see that the media of presentation is the pictures, but the main focus of this slide is actually the words at the bottom, ensuring that your font size is large enough and your pictorials are relevant and of the appropriate size. The pictures become the first thing you see because they are so big, and the words become the last thing that you see, simply because it's too small, even though it is of the most important message. So how do you change it? First, change the font size and place it at the top. This way, the first thing that you see will be the font. The first thing you see will be the message and not the pictures. Okay, we move on. Over here, I'll need you guys to read through this, and then I'll get one of you guys to share how we can improve on this slide. Okay, can I, Riley, are you there from Countryside? Hello, Riley.
Yes.
Hi. Okay, so the question for me I have for you is, how do you think we can improve this slide?
Change the color of the red color background to like white, so that and change the words to black so that we can see the words like clearer.
Okay, so you're trying to tell me that you have trouble seeing the words right now. Okay, that is one valid point. But maybe I want you to maybe look a little deeper on what the words are saying. Maybe read the sentences themselves. Maybe you can tell us something more that you notice. Maybe they are too wordy,
Make it in point form.
Yes, making a point form. Yes, that's correct. Can. Oh, sorry. Actually, my so actually told me that you answered before. Sorry to make you answer again. But yes, correct. The point form is important. Always ensure that your presentation has all point forms only and do not give them sentences to read. This is because, well, the audience will not listen and hear what you're saying if they have the slide to read everything. So one more thing to take note of is no one can listen and read at the same time. So always ensure that your pictures are there just to add emphasis, and then what your audience hear is only from you. Understand so far? Okay. Now we move on to the last aspect, feedback. So let's talk about feedback. Seeking acknowledgement. Always ensure that your target audience is on the same page as you throughout your presentation. This way, you can clarify any doubts or queries that they might have. Some ways to achieve these are question and answer sessions, quizzes, as well as games. Right. Do you guys have any questions so far since we are on this aspect? No questions so far? Everything's clear to you guys? Quite clear? Okay. Now we move on to the learning summary. This is our conclusion. I'll let you guys read this for a moment. The most important part is the content-based presentation focuses on the delivery of information of a topic. And then the content-based presentations makes up of 5 key aspects: speaker, audience, message, delivery, and feedback. So the key learning points are speaker, which is to ensure that you are comfortable with the topic. You familiarize yourself with the topic, you get comfortable with what you're presenting. The audience, always carry out audience analysis. What's the size of your target audience? What's the learning capacity of your target audience? The message, there's 3 parts to it: content, structure, as well as right, I'll get back to that in a moment. So for the content, ensuring that the key objectives are all met. And then for the structure, you have the introduction, body, and conclusion. Then we move on to delivery, where we must pay attention to our verbal and non-verbal communication, as well as our medium of presentation. And then the feedback to check for understanding. Right. I'm going to check if we have enough time to do an activity. I'll get back to you guys just in a moment. At the moment, is anyone need to rush off anything? Or do you guys want to play an activity so that you can understand this topic more clearly?
So if you need to leave, please don't be shy to voice it out. We understand that it's us delaying the session. So the plan from here is we'll go through the activity. We'll let Cheryl finish his lesson. Then we'll give you the brief on the assessment, the coursework, just to let you know what is in for you. We'll conclude the day, and I'll finish the day by breaking you into your breakout room so that you can communicate with whoever is in your groups, exchange your contacts and whatsoever. Then you can leave from there. Okay. So hopefully everything will be done by 5:20-ish. Okay.
Okay, so now you guys will be creating an activity. I'll share what the activity is about. So it's actually just a very simple activity. So you're holding a formal presentation on a program where you let your teacher know how you're going to hold a PT session for 10 secondary 1 cadets. The formal presentation will be presented to your teacher in charge. Quite clear cut. So now, I'll need you guys to... Do you guys know your groupings? All know your groupings? So I'll be sending you guys in the breakout room, but then first I'll send you guys the list of questions you guys must take note of. So for group 1, you'll handle the speaker aspect. And for group 2, you handle the audience aspect. And for 3 and 4, you can do message. And for 5, you can do delivery. And for 6, you can do feedback. The guiding questions are all to the right side of the aspect. Everything clear? You guys know your groupings, you guys know what questions you guys are going to handle, which aspect you guys are going to handle? Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Jeka. I sent the message to you guys. So now I'll be sending you guys into the into the breakout groups.
So guys, try to hurry up a bit. Now it's 16:51. I will close it at 17:01. 10 minutes. Jerusha is group 1, group 3. I think so.
Actually, 5 minutes can already. I don't need them detailed. I just want them to know the presentation.
Anyway. Your presentation is okay. I think generally it's okay. I think this topic is easier to teach them. Yeah. I think the only thing I have is draw the examples to be more relevant. So like, for example, audience, when your example was working adult versus cadet. Now about the second or second 3, it's a you get the same result. So contextualize it.
Okay.
Generally, I think it's okay. I like it. When you mention the learning summary, you just highlight that. Yeah. So simply is something I'll take a read. Don't only just take a read. Sometimes you want to highlight the main point of the slide. Okay. That might actually save you more time than say take a read. Yeah. So a slide can be very lengthy, like what we had in the summary, the learning point summary slide in the presentation skills slide. Yeah, you just highlight what is highlighted. That's fine. Yeah. Then for just now the program planning, I think the activity good. It's good that you work on what I suggested because time not because it's my suggestion because but it's good that you at least did it. I want to correct this content. I think it's a bit more clear. Safety, realize that every time someone said a preventive measure, so for example, someone pointed out, I can't remember for like basketball, basketball game, that in itself is a sort of preventive measure, and it's worth writing it down. So, in general, safety, there are 3 main aspects of prevention. There's two main phases of prevention and one main phase of mitigation. So before is a phase of prevention, during is a phase of prevention, and after is a phase of mitigation. So before and during, you do what you can to prevent things from happening. So before activity, I train people properly. So for example, in the SAF, I train people to handle the equipment properly. During the conduct, you supervise and ensure that they are handling the equipment properly. But then again, you must have measures in place to mitigate any problems that will pop up after. So that's where you have the first areas of science. Okay. So when we are teaching REM, I think that's very important that we emphasize that. Don't overlook preventive measures because they are also mitigating actions to take.
Put that part as a pre-activity briefing. Or is it?
But pre-activity brief when you're teaching, in this context, is actually what is the job of everyone for them to do the job, so which also is right.
Because the one the pre-activity brief, I imagine was like you brief whatever, then afterwards you say like
Of course. So there will be safety pointers and stuff like that. So all these safety pointers, they're not mutually exclusive. So whatever you brief the pre-activity brief can also be part of the safety brief. Okay. And I think one thing that you did well was that every time someone gives you something, you were able to paraphrase it. So I think that draws on what I say on concepts as an example. So you will manage to read, to paraphrase certain things, concepts instead of rely on the examples that we give you. Yeah, so that's very important. That's a very important skill because next time you realize that when you are sitting in meetings, some people they just talk in this kind of very empirical format. Your job as a secretary is to check that.
I can already.
I'll see you.
Okay, so now I'll begin. Welcome back, everybody. So can I get someone from group 1 to share with us, preferably with female, because just now all of you guys, all the male already answered. None of the female was speaking up earlier at Singlish presentation. So start from group 1. If you don't have a female in your group, you can choose a male, of course. Okay, no worries, you can select another person from group 1. Okay, never mind. I will point to whoever in group 1 you are. Maybe Alicia? Alicia, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. All right. So what have you guys gone through as a group?
We should familiarize and rehearse beforehand.
Familiarize and rehearse your content, correct? Anything else you should do?
Understand the purpose.
Yes, that's very important, understanding the purpose. What is the purpose of our presentation to the teachers?
The purpose is about having a PT session.
Okay, maybe how to hold a PT session instead. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
All right, that's correct. Anything else you want to add for your speaker note? Maybe your other group mates, have anything else to say?
No.
All right, cool. Thank you, Alicia. Now for the second group, for the key aspect audience. Okay, sorry, I have to point because I never get you guys to select one representative. Maybe I can get Cheng Hao.
We are presenting to the teachers, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I think you can explain the rationale behind what's the benefits of a PT session.
Benefits of the PT session. Okay, but that's actually under the third aspect.
Really?
But never mind, it's okay. I'll write it for you. Helping the other groups, I guess. Benefit of having a PT session. But okay, no, actually, let me rephrase what I'm trying to say.
Actually, I think that would interest the teachers actually.
Understand. That's actually very true. Okay. Sorry, I did not form my guiding questions correctly. What you're saying is true. Benefits of having PT session. However, just to let you guys know in general, all these should be included inside the message, the content, the benefits of having PT session. But yes, correct. Benefits of PT having should be included. So, okay. Do you agree with what I'm writing over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what about the third question, the third guiding question?
Should I just say yes?
Yes, you can. No worries, it's true. All right, thank you for sharing. Now we move on to the, fourth group. Sorry, I'll select the fourth group first. What will your message be? All right, sorry, I have to point again. Hi, yes.
I'm from Group 4. I'm Jala.
Yes, hi, Jala.
What was your question again?
My question is, what do you think happens in a key aspect of holding a presentation to your teacher in charge? So the key aspect called message. What should be inside your presentation? So what should be the message of your presentation?
Purpose,
Message.
message.
What do you think you'll be presenting?
Okay, the advantage. Wait.
Advantages, benefits, that's cool.
Yes, show them the pros and cons first.
Pros and cons, okay. So elaboration of the benefits.
Yes, just
Okay,
more
okay.
elaboration and examples.
Examples, okay. Examples such as? Maybe what goes on during the PT session, doing what type of PT, push up, sit up.
Yes, show PT session. Show them how doing different types of PT benefits the body. Yes.
Okay. So the benefit, okay. But what about the lesson plan itself? What about what goes on during the PT session? Do you think it's important to share that with the teachers?
Yes.
Okay.
It's important.
So what? So the agenda / message point of the presentation will be also not only talking about the benefits, but also talking about what happens during the PT session. So what activities are you doing in the PT session? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. For the third group, maybe I'll point to Jerusha. Actually, Jerusha, you answered already, right? Okay, never mind. We will go with Chen Wei from HCI.
Okay, hi.
Hi. So is there anything you want to add on to the message? Like maybe the objective of the presentation?
I think like just now he has already like mention what I wanted to say. I think I will explain to the teacher the purpose of having a PT, like for example, to increase the fitness of the cadets.
So similar to under pros and cons.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I understand. I'll just keep it as pros and cons for the having a PT session. Right, anything else?
I won't say there's like anything else. I would say because like the group 4 already like have mentioned what I want to say is very similar. Like the PT session and its benefits and what activities, for example, jumping jacks, push-ups. I think the group 4 has already mentioned what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you. Right. Now we move on to delivery, the key aspect delivery from group 5. Anyone want to step up to present?
Hi.
Hi.
So basically,
Sorry, can I get a name?
my name is Shijie. I'm sorry.
Shijie.
Yeah. So
okay, hi.
We have it typed out, so I don't think we need to like really tell us type. I'll just stand in the chat, but I'll still really repeat through. So first, regarding the verbal methods,
yes.
right?
Yes.
What we need to take note of is to ensure that the speech is prepared well, to ensure that we are confident of delivering the speech smoothly, to ensure that we have a good standing posture, confident natural facial expressions, confident appropriate hand gestures, good tone and tempo.
Okay, so you actually talk about non-verbal and verbal as well. Good posture. Okay. Then what about the medium of presentation? Are you using presentation slides?
For slides. So the things that we need to take note of is to ensure that the slides are well informed and simple, and also to make use of pictures, because the old saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Sorry, I didn't catch the last part. Sorry about that.
To ensure that we utilize pictures and pictorials.
Okay.
Because a picture is worth 1,000 words. So see.
Okay.
Also,
yes.
To abide by the basic rule of thumbs of basic presentation slides, which is to use a plain background without striking colors. Do not use too many fonts. Ensure the typography and the background color are in contrast and constantly visible. Take note of the font size and keep it consistent without.
Okay, not too many words. These are things that I went through in the slides earlier. That's okay. That's correct. All right, what about feedback? Okay, sorry. Thank you for sharing so much. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, now we move to feedback. Group number 6. All right, never mind. It's okay. I'll. Jie Kai. Are you there, Jie Kai?
Yes.
Hi. Okay. Right. For the feedback, what do you think are some ways you can get the target audience to be on the same page as you?
Can ask like how to improve anywhere, or like is there any questions?
Questions, yes, questions and answer session.
Yeah.
Alright. Any quizzes, games, maybe?
I don't think so, because it's to a teacher.
Yes, that's correct. To the teacher, it's not appropriate to hold quizzes and games. That's true. And how do you seek acknowledgement from your target audience? Do you catch my question? Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking.
So, how do you seek acknowledgement? Perhaps you can ask them some questions, ask the teacher some questions to clarify some points. Or maybe you can seek acknowledgement through a debrief, a quick conclusion, so that you can add emphasis to certain points.
When I ask the teacher, is there anything to improve on? Like, is the whole proposal appropriate?
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yes, that can be a feedback as well. That's correct. So any pointers to improve? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so as I can tell that you guys have all understood the content that I'm trying to go through in my slides. You guys are able to hold a good presentation on your own right now. Just important tip to remember is always to refer back to the guiding questions. At the right side of the screen, you'll be in a pinkish bubble. Let me just show one of them again. Right over here. So always refer to these guiding questions by the right side of the screen when you are holding your own presentation in the future. Okay, that's actually it for my presentations module. Now I'll pass the time back to Daryl, sir.